What's up, guys? Welcome back to OG Sports TV, and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. This week we're discussing the NFC and the AFC Championship games. Can't wait for these games, and I can't wait to break it down with you guys. Drop a like if you'd like, subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into it. The first game on Sunday is the NFC Championship game featuring the Buccaneers and the Packers, and I'm super excited for this game. I can't wait to watch it. Something I wanted to mention at the beginning of this section of the video is that if you remember, I've picked against the Buccaneers twice so far in the playoffs, and obviously they've won both times. I picked against them in Washington, and I picked against them in New Orleans. It looks like they're going to the Super Bowl because I'm picking them against them again this week. I don't think they can beat the Packers in Green Bay, and I know they did it once already in Week 6. They really dominated that game, but the way that they won that game is the same way they won the game last week in New Orleans. But there's reasons why it won't work this week. The way they did that is they ran the ball. They didn't ask Tom Brady to do too much, and they played good defense. Well, they're not going to be able to get away with that this week in Green Bay. Their win in New Orleans was inspired by takeaways, and those takeaways came from aside from the fumble by Jared Cook, this essentially from Drew Brees just not having it anymore, and Aaron Rodgers clearly has it. The Packers just dismantled the number one defense in the NFL. So nothing the Bucs are going to do will scare them. And the way that the Bucs won that game against the Packers in Week 6, a big part of that was because the Packers' offensive line didn't play well. The Bucs blitzed a lot, and it really pressured Aaron Rodgers, and it really threw him off his game. Well, now the Packers' offensive line is playing incredible. Even though they don't have star left tackle David Bakhtiari, they're playing really well, and they're playing with a lot of confidence, and you can see it if you go back and watch that game against the Rams. It doesn't matter that Aaron Donald was on a pitch count. They passed off stunts really well. They protected against the blitz, and Aaron Rodgers he peppered them all day long. So, and they really last week against the Rams, and really in general, they play mistake-free football. And the Bucs defense is a very opportunistic defense, and if you're not making mistakes, then they're gonna give up a lot of yards and give up scores. It's gonna be a tough day for them. Let's talk about that Week 6 game a little bit more. In the first 3 quarters of that Week 6 game where the Bucs blew out the Packers in Tampa, in the first 3 quarters before the outcome got out of reach, Todd Bowles, the Bucs defensive coordinator, blitzed Aaron Rodgers 50% of the time. That is an unbelievable number. That's so much, and the reason that he did it so much is because it was like sharks in the water. They smelled blood. It was by far the offensive line's worst performance of the season. It was by far Rodgers' worst performance of the season. He completed 5 of 16 attempts, 48 yards, and 2 interceptions, while also taking 2 sacks in those first 3 quarters. He did not do well, but the reason that that's not going to work this game is because, like I said already, the Packers' offensive line is playing incredible. And here, the Bucs are in a situation where they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because let's say they decide not to blitz as much, which they can. Let's say they decide not to blitz as much this time. If they play softer coverage, Aaron Rodgers showed just last week that he's patient and he's willing to take those underneath and shorter yardage plays and take a more slower, methodical type of approach, and they're still going to go down the field and score points. Or let's say he does decide to dial up the blitz. Aaron Rodgers, especially on play action, has been the league's best passer, and against play action, Tampa Bay's defense is 19th, and they're going to use play action against the blitz because it's going to open up plays downfield. So the Bucs defense is going to have a rough day, and they're on the road. And the Packers defense against Tom Brady will show that they're opportunistic enough to create just enough of pressure to keep the Bucs from being able to keep up. So it's going to be a tough day for the Buccaneers. The Packers, I think, should win this game, but since I mentioned already, since I picked against the Bucs every single time, they're probably going to go to the Super Bowl. On to the next game. The night game on Sunday is the AFC Championship between the Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, a huge part of this game is if Patrick Mahomes will be healthy, and at this point, early Friday morning, it looks like he's going to play, which is great news for the Chiefs, great news for the casual football fan, and it should be a great game, and I'm really excited for it. A couple of things in this game. The Bills' defense against the Chiefs' offense is going to be a huge thing to watch in this game. Last week, the Bills' pass defense which is something that maybe we overlook slightly because of just the quality of the running offense that they played against. The pass defense was incredible. They only gave up 190 yards through the air through the whole game, and they had one interception, the memorable pick six by Taron Johnson. That's going to be huge to see if they can do that again against who is Patrick Mahomes, who is clearly a much better passer than Lamar Jackson. Not a slight to Lamar Jackson. He's a bit more of a dual threat than Patrick Mahomes is. Patrick Mahomes is more of a refined passer. He can hurt you any way he wants to. He can make any throw on the field. We'll see how healthy he is. Hopefully the concussion is a thing of the past. Hopefully he's 100% ready to go. Can't wait to see this matchup. The run defense. Lamar Jackson on the ground last week, 34 yards. That's insane. That's an MVP they shut down. So Patrick Mahomes, like I mentioned, not the running threat that Lamar Jackson is. He can scramble, make some plays, but he's not the dynamic runner that Lamar is. It's not something they'll have to worry about. And the Chiefs running the ball from their running backs, that's not going to be a huge part of their game plan. But they'll sprinkle some in there. We'll see what they do. But Mahomes last week, this is one of the points of the game. Mahomes last week through the air, 255 yards, a touchdown, and 106.9 rating. He absolutely shredded the Browns defense. The only thing that kept them from scoring more points in this game is that they weren't very clinical in the red zone. And that's something that they'll need to do against the Bills. They will need to score absolutely every time that they can. They can't settle for field goals. They have to score touchdowns. Because on the flip side, the Kansas City defense is dead last in the NFL in the red zone. And they're 15th on third down defense. How does that relate to the Bills offense? The Bills offense is the best in the league on third down. They convert nearly 50% of their third downs, which is absolutely incredible. They don't come off the field. They're very efficient. They have chain movers everywhere. Stephon Diggs is the best wide receiver in the NFL this year. He's first in yards, first in catches. Cole Beasley is a chain mover. Gabriel Davis can hurt you deep. John Brown will come out of nowhere, hit a great game last week. The two running backs, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, they can catch screens and dump off passes out of the backfield. They will convert third downs in this game, and they will get in the red zone. And the Chiefs' defense has not shown that they can stop anyone in the red zone. They're 32nd in red zone defense. So the Bills are going to score in this game. It'll be a little bit different on the road. The Bills Mafia won't be there. But the Bills are good enough to win this game. They're good enough to go out there and score 40 points. They can absolutely do that on the road in Kansas City. So what the Chiefs need to do to give themselves the best chances, they have to be clinical. They can't do what they did last week against the Browns. They gave up opportunities and they settled for field goals. They'll lose if they settle for field goals in this game. This game is really fun. It's essentially a coin flip. There are a few mismatches in this game. Travis Kelce, who I gushed over in last week's video, it will be interesting to see how the Bills go about defending him. Matt Milano, linebacker for the Bills, has been excellent in pass coverage this year, but that doesn't mean anything when you're going against Travis Kelce. He's an absolute mismatch for anyone. He's essentially an ex-wide receiver or wide receiver one. So another mismatch in this game is Stephon Diggs against the Kansas City corners, whether that be Breland or anyone else. It's a mismatch. Stephon Diggs, as I mentioned already, best wide receiver in the NFL this year, first in receptions and first in yards. It doesn't matter who they put on him. Stephon Diggs is going to have an impact. And like I already mentioned, the Bills are deep at playmakers. So again, the key in this game is going to be if Kansas City defense can get the Bills off the field on third down. They absolutely have to. If the Bills get in the red zone, they're going to score. It's seal it. It's done. So we'll see. We'll see how the Chiefs come out on defense. That's going to be the deciding factor in this game. And we'll see if the Bills' magic can hold up. They haven't played a complete game on offense yet in the playoffs. They absolutely can in this game. The Chiefs' defense is there for the taking. We'll see if they get a few lucky bounces, see if they get a lucky fumble, a turnover, something. The Bills' magic must continue. That'll wrap up this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. To recap, I picked the Packers to beat the Buccaneers in Green Bay, and the Bills Mafia, baby, to go into Kansas City and beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. We'll have a Packers and Bills Super Bowl. That's going to be so exciting. That's it for this one. Drop a like if you liked. Subscribe if you're new. Remember, be kind to someone today. That's real talk.